Hi guys, it's Andrew again from the South Allegheny Recording Studio. This is the first video in my mixing series where we're covering the basics of making your track sound as good as possible. Today's topic is volume and panning. Now, volume is a very familiar topic with most people. It controls how loud or soft your music is. When mixing, the volume of each instrument is one of the most powerful tools you have to make your music sound pro. Panning, however, may not be so familiar. Panning is spreading out your tracks across the stereo field by moving them more to the left speaker or the right speaker. You may have in your car a balance knob, and that moves the entire music to the left or right speaker, while when we mix, we have the opportunity to move each instrument to the left or right speaker. Now, if you haven't seen my video about basic mixing concepts, please go check that out before watching this video. It covers the anatomy of the mixing board and make sure you understand how the signal travels through so you can edit it properly. Okay, so I'm here in Logic and I'm working on my full cover of Everlong that I recorded here in the studio. If you want to check out the full song, I'll include a card in the top right corner of the screen. I have the mixing window open on the second monitor. When you open Logic, the mix window should always pop up on the second screen, but if it doesn't for some reason, you can open it by pressing Command 2 on the Mac keyboard. So in the mixing window, I see all of my channels. Every track has its own channel, all my vocal tracks, all my drums, all my guitars, the bass, everything. The volume is controlled by the fader at the bottom of the screen. The closer the fader is to the top, the louder the signal is for that track. The closer it is to the bottom, the softer it is. Now I have all the faders in my session set to unity, also known as 0 dB. You can tell it's at 0 dB by this little number right here. It says 0.0. In the world of mixing, 0 dB is the loudest your signal can be before it starts to distort or sound choppy. So in general, you'll want to set your volumes below 0 dB. Now let's talk about panning. Like I said earlier, panning takes your track and sets it at a specific spot between the left and right speakers. This makes space in the stereo field for all the different tracks you may have. A good approach to panning is to imagine you're in the crowd at a concert. When you look at the stage, the drums are often in the center, the vocalist is also usually in the center, the bass player may be to the right, the keyboard player off to the left, two guitar players are on opposite sides of the stage, etc. So when I'm panning, I'm going to try my best to put the instruments in the same places as I see them on the stage. So I'll keep my drums and vocals in the middle, bass to the right, keyboards off to the left, and maybe I'll split my guitars on either side. I can adjust the pan with this knob right here. The more I move it to the right like this, the more it'll come out of the right speaker. If I move it more to the left, it'll come out of the left speaker. To start mixing, I like to bring my faders all the way down. So let me do that. Then I'll bring up each fader individually until I'm happy with the volumes compared to each other. My general rule of thumb is to turn it up until it's just too loud, then back it off a bit. So I'll start with the drums, then I'll move to the bass, then I'll do the guitars, and finally I'll do the vocals. And we're just going to set the volumes for right now. So let's see what happens. Okay, I've got the volumes where I want them to be for now. Keep in mind, this is just a good starting point. I can always make more adjustments later on. Also, I've turned off all the effects, all pitch correction, all enhancements to the guitars and everything, just so we can concentrate on volume only. Now I'm going to take care of my panning. Again, this will move an instrument to primarily come out of either the left or right speaker. So I'm going to imagine I'm watching a band play at a concert, and so the drummer is usually in the middle of the stage. So I'm not going to move this knob. I'm going to keep it right in the middle. For the bass, I'm going to move that to the right, maybe about halfway or so, plus 25-ish. And that's me imagining that the bass player is standing to the right of the drummer. Then I've got all these guitar parts. I've got, I think, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 active guitar parts going on right now. So I'm going to split them evenly between left and right, because realistically there's got to be at least 2 or 3 guitar players. So let me do that quickly. Now for my vocals, usually the singer, the lead singer, is front and center on the stage. So again, I'm not going to move this knob for each of my vocal tracks. Okay, so now I've taken care of my panning too. Now keep in mind, we've just adjusted volumes and panning. No effects, nothing else. Let's see how it sounds. So not too bad. The mix has some depth across the stereo field. It's coming out of both speakers. I can hear instruments in my left ear and my right ear, and it's not directly in front of me, like right in front of my face. This is good. And this is the majority of mixing, is just getting this stuff right from the get-go. In the next video, I'll take you through adding effects to your tracks, such as EQ, compression, and reverb, to make sure that certain frequencies from one instrument don't get in the way of the frequencies from another. Be sure to visit the South Allegheny Recording Studio website for more videos. Thanks.